Getting a look at tonight's starting lineups for the Edmonton Oilers, and they'll go with Olivier Rodriguez, I mentioned, in net. He came in mop-up duty last night in the 9-1 defeat of the Nate McEwen All-Stars. Rodriguez just faced 4 shots in that third period, stopped 3 of them. He played for Drummondville the last 2 seasons with a .903 save percentage last year. Kyler Yamamoto returns to the lineup up front with Ryan McLeod, who had an excellent game last night, narrowly missed a hat trick, and Dave Gus. That's your opening line for the Oilers with Jake Kulovich and William Lagesson on defense. Your starting lineup brought to you by Coventry Homes, the preferred builder of the Edmonton Oilers. Find out why fans live here at coventry-homes.com.
We'll go to the Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by our Alberta Ford dealers, home of the F-Series trucks, Canada's best-selling line of trucks for 52 years. Oilers got to get to Parsons if they can. He was stellar the other night, and they need some stops on their own end. And an opportunity for some guys to showcase themselves tonight here at the NMAX Centrium.
Ryan McLeod will take the center ice draw. Calgary, in addition to Parsons, who, like Rodriguez, a second-round pick. He was drafted 2 years ago in 2016. They'll counter with Brett Pollock, the one-time Edmonton Oil King, up front with Matthew Phillips and Glenn Gaudin, and Josh Healy, along with Braden Pahal to start on defense. And we're underway with the Flames controlling the opening draw and working it down deep. The puck flipped out to Matthew Phillips in the high slot now, and he's got it patrolled by William Lagesson behind the net for Glenn Gaudin. Banked it off the wall out to the point, and a rather conservative Josh Healy will back off, making sure Edmonton doesn't have a chance for a counterattack. And eventually the puck funneled back toward the Edmonton blue line and sent ahead by Kulovich. In over the line is McLeod. Multi-point night last night. Lets a shot fly, redirected off the boards, and Yamamoto with a swing and a miss and a loose puck in front of Tyler Parsons. It comes the other way instead to Dubé. Centering pass and a one-timer, and I think Rodriguez might have gotten a piece of that one, or it was just flipped wide. What a chance for Calgary early, and Brett Pollock, who scored in the Flames' 7-3 win on Sunday, not once but twice, had that scoring chance early in this one. Oilers banging in deep, and going to work on the forecheck is Cameron Hebig. Gambardella in hot pursuit as well as Calgary looks to contain, and it's played up the right-hand glass and knocked out of play by Tyler Vessel. We'll have a face-off just outside the Calgary blue line, but what a look by Dylan Dubé, who you can make an argument was the Flames' best player on Sunday, and a nice setup to Brett Pollock.
Yeah, Dylan Dubé played the last couple of years for Jason Smith and Kelowna won a World Junior Championship. Should the Oilers win tonight, valid for tomorrow only. Anybody that mentions the phrase Battle of Alberta receives a free piece of chicken at the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen locations in Edmonton and Sherwood Park. That phrase again, Battle of Alberta.
Off the face-off and working down low against Adam Olis-Mattsson was Nolan Vesey, and it comes up the right-hand side, and the Oiler rookies look to get started here, but Maximoff can't play a puck loose in the high slot, and it's eventually chipped out to Jordan Ernst, and he'll send it in deep for Calgary. Samorukov takes a hard hit for the Oiler rookies, and Adam Ruzicka follows up on the forecheck, but Samorukov able to reverse and work it out with the help from Vesey. Too strong, though, on the puck was Vesey, and that will be an icing call whistled against Edmonton. We've played 1 minute 52 seconds. Calgary, unlike Edmonton, did not play a middle game. They're just going to play the home and home, if you will, with Edmonton for their rookie camp, this being the Oilers' third game, the 7-3 loss to Calgary on Sunday, followed by the 9-1 defeat of Nate McEwen last night at Rogers Place. Off the draw, back in the Edmonton zone, it's Jared Wilson. Had a nice fight the other night at the Saddle Dome, and a solid all-around game as well. Clears up the right-hand side, puck popped out of play from Zach Fisher up into the second row. Again, this NMAX Centrium, home to the Red Deer Rebels, and of course, the home to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for so many years. Nugent-Hopkins had a 100-point campaign in this place, built in 1991. Capacity 7111 for hockey, 7819 for concerts. And off the draw, it's tracked and controlled by Milos Roman of Calgary, who has the puck at center ice now. Takes a hard hit from Ryan Van Stralen. Both went down on that one. And now a lead pass for Poli, also a 4-year Red Deer Rebel. Got a shot off and a save made by Parsons. Lost the stick, but not control the puck as it was cleared by Zach Fisher of Calgary. Back to get it is Kulovich, and he'll send it over to Evan Polai, and the Oilers attacking from right to left enter the offensive zone. Von Stralen trying to follow it up, but it's played quickly, and a big hit on Pahal, who's going to captain Prince Albert this year. He's shaken up, and Polai finished that check, and you can bet Pahal's feeling. Down the left-hand side is Matthew Phillips. He was drilled by Yamamoto. Two Flames went after him and collided with one another, and in fact, we're going to have a penalty called against Calgary. Dave Gust has the puck for Edmonton, and in this delayed penalty situation, it's Crevier Morin who's controlling for the Oilers in his own zone. 3 1/4 gone by in the scoreless first period. Edmonton will get a power play momentarily. Ethan Bear hits the line, drops it off, and now we'll have an offside call, and the penalty will go into effect. Edmonton scored twice on the power play last night in that 9-1 thrashing, and now they get their first opportunity here at 3:23. But that was created a little bit by the initial hit from Polai, and then at the other end, Yamamoto with an impressive check.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pahal getting hit on the play, and there's been 2 generations of Pahal prominent players. Vern Pahal's the all-time leading Golden Bear point getter in a single season.
Number 80, Glenn
and
Godden,
Clayton Pahal played for Boston and Colorado
Godden tripping
in the National Hockey League.
3.
Off the draw, Ethan Bear. Over to Yamamoto, swings it down low. Quick one-timer taken by Vessel on a setup from McLeod, but it was blocked, and the Flames drill it down the right-hand side.
How many opportunities has Tyler Vessel had over the course of these 3 rookie games?
Finally scored late last night in the win over Nate McEwen at Rogers Place. McLeod comes in over the line, had the puck knocked off his stick. Gus was able to regroup to Bear, and now Vessel took a hard shot. Drop past McLeod. His shot redirected over the net and tracked down in the corner by Gust, the product of Ohio State. Out to the point, Yamamoto. He'll swing it over to Bear, and now Gust loading up left circle. Back door, and it was there, but he just missed McLeod. Yamamoto takes it off the right half boards to Bear in the high slot. Left circle, it's Dave Gust. Minute 5 on the Atco power play, with McLeod controlling down low in the right corner for the Oilers. Yamamoto had it knocked off his stick, and that was fired length of the ice by Calgary, and line changes coming for both squads. The clear on the play delivered by Josh Healy.
Already more jump today than there was on Sunday afternoon for Tyler Yamamoto, Jack.
Polai driving in from the left-hand side, knocked off the puck. Lagesson briefly held it in. And part of that, I think, has to do with Yamamoto landing the big hit early in this game. That'll get you into the game. Godden is in the box for Edmonton for another 30 seconds, but unable to control the puck coming over the line is Maximoff, and it's another length of the ice clear for the Flames. Played by Rodrigue up the left-hand side. Hebig breaks loose with Maximoff on his right, takes a shot through a screen, and that surprised Parsons, but despite that puck getting in on him, he was able to grab it right near his left wrist and freeze it for a face-off to his right with 16 seconds left on this Oiler power play. 14:53 to go in our first period.
Evan Polai, homecoming for him, played the 2016 Memorial Cup, won by the London Knights.
And Tyler Parsons.
Yes.
Off the draw, here's Luke Esposito, left corner. Blew a wheel, fell down, held in by Kulovich, and the Oiler defenseman takes a shot that was blocked. Got it back, threw it in the high slot for Colin Larkin, backhander Esposito, and that puck didn't get to the net either. Flames able to clear, and that'll do it for the power play. Both Larkin and Esposito scored in last night's win at Rogers. Lead pass left wing. Here's Nolan Vesey ahead for Luke Esposito, the nephew of Mark Messier. Spun down top of the circle. He'll send it down low for Colin Larkin. Now it's Vesey. Larkin centering pass, and that was redirected just wide. Loose left corner, Samorukov. This is really a line of guys who have ties to the NHL and different facets. I mentioned Esposito. Nolan Vesey's older brother is Jimmy Vesey. And now out to the point. Here's Samorukov, top of the left circle. Lets a shot go. That was blocked, and the Flames were able to carry it up ice. Right-hand side and eventually bang down low. And, of course, Colin Larkin, Bob, as you know, the older brother of Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, as the Flames watch a clear from Von Stralen, getting it back to center. Eventually tracked by Gambardella. He'll send it over to Van Stralen, and he'll bring it to center ice, but advance no further as Adam Olis Matson is able to shovel it in deep. After the puck is Elise, the German Olympian from last year, ran into his own guy, and Tyler Vessel was able to come over, control the puck, and send it over to Dmitry Samorukov. Up to center ice, turned it over at the Calgary line. Olis Matson will go rink wide, and it's played by Valimaki up the left-hand side. That's broken up by Yamamoto, and the Oilers will go on the counter right to left. Yamamoto creates a 2-on-1. In over the line, centering pass, and that hopped over the stick of Gust, who's tracked immediately by Roman. Cut back inside, quick shot, save made by Parsons, rebound save. Yamamoto took another shot, save made by Parsons. He's flailing around at it, and finally gaining control of the puck is Yassine Elise. A little too nonchalant with a clear, didn't get it done. Yamamoto was driven to the blue line, and finally Ethan Bear has to come over to gain control and bring it back to center. Down the seam is McLeod. Beautiful move, cuts inside, wrist shot, flipped it wide. He had Parsons down and out. Wild, sharp angle shot, Yamamoto. Another save by Parsons, and eventually it's taken and cleared up the left-hand side by Mike McMurtry of Calgary, and the Flames will just launch it down the ice for an icing call, but they needed to alleviate the pressure. Juuso Valimaki, their first-round selection a year ago, recognized that fact, and Calgary extremely fortunate not to be trailing in this game again, as he was on Sunday. Tyler Parsons has been the difference. He stopped 6 shots, while Rodrigue has just 1 save at the other end for Edmonton in a scoreless game.
Jack, the Oilers are playing with urgency and quickness, and they are jumping right now. And Ryan McLeod, he's got the type of speed that can separate.
Just did not finish on that last opportunity. Off the face-off, Kulovic had his shot blocked, got it back, threw it toward the net, and that clipped off the plexiglass. Eventually cleared but not out by Rippin. And now from the right circle, an attempt by Hebig sails high and wide, clattered off the glass and chases Kulovic all the way back into his own zone. He'll send it up the right-hand side. Hebig makes sure to get it in deep. Igor Merezhkov, who had 2 bouts on Sunday. The first went well, the second did not. Send it ahead, right side to the net. Backhander score! What a move by Dmitry Zavgorodny, and he gives Calgary a 1-0 lead. Beautiful forehand dink that dragged it over to the backhand and tucked it home on Calgary's second shot on net in this hockey game.
Yeah, Samorukov gave up the outside angle, and Zavgorodny took it hard to the hole. This is a player that plays in Rimouski, where they've got a guy that's probably going to go number 1, maybe number 2, coming up in the 2020 NHL draft, and Alexis Lafreniere. It's Quinton Byfield out of Ontario is going to push for that spot. That Rimouski team is going to be really good. It was an elite level finish on an excellent drive.
And an excellent outlet pass from Igor Merezhkov.
Yep.
Freed him up, and Zavgorodny made no mistake, completely fooling Olivier Rodrigue. It's 1-0 Calgary. Time of the goal, 8:15. Zavgorodny from Merezhkov, and it's 1-0. Phillips brings it in. Cross-ice pass broken up by Maximov. Shots are 6-2 in this game in favor of Edmonton, but it's 1-0 Calgary. Healy, slide step to his left and lost control of the puck. It's Colin Larkin, the outlet to Maximov. One touch to Vesey, tried to get it back, but the pass was off target, and Healy goes in
goal
deep.
Scored by number 78, Dmitry Zavgorodny. The assist
tries the right-hand side,
Dubé, and number 98,
and
Igor.
This will be an icing call against Calgary. Give Dubé the second assist there, as Merezhkov with the outlet, Zavgorodny the finish, and 1-0 Calgary with an icing call whistled against the Flames. We'll bring it back to the left of the Calgary net. Again, Cale McLean on the Calgary bench, Jay Woodcroft for Edmonton.
You know, when I was here for the Memorial Cup in 2016, you see Tyler Parsons play of London. It was like watching Grant Fuhr with the Oilers in the 80s. They were willing to trade chances because they had the guy that was going to stop the puck on those counter strikes for opposition teams.
And he's been excellent in the 2 games we've seen him this week. Sunday at the Saddledome, and tonight off to a great start here in Red Deer. Clear by the Flames off the draw. Ethan Bear back to collect. Crevier Morin up the middle for Esposito. Backhand pass over to Van Stralen. He'll send it over to Bear, and now Evan Poli right-hand side. Tried to duck his way around Juuso Valimaki. That did not pan out. It was played up the right wing boards, but held in by William Lagesson. Back behind, Van Stralen taken off his feet. Works his way back into the play, threw it to the far side. Jordan Ernst protecting the boards and maintaining puck possession for Calgary to center, and Valimaki will shoot it in. Around the boards, Ruzicka wrapped up with Lagesson. Long shot taken from a tough angle that sailed wide. Olis Matson briefly held it in, eventually going to be cleared by Kulovic. Up the left-hand side for Dave Gus, taken off his feet by Salamaki, and it's whipped up the right-hand side. Juuso Valimaki, again a first-round pick for the Calgary Flames in 2017. On the rush and taking a sharp angle shot was Ernst. That sailed off the corner boards and was turned over ultimately by Merrick Rippon. The other way comes Yamamoto. He runs into traffic in the form of a pair of Flames. Samorukov trying to support at center ice, knocked off his feet by Ruzicka, and it's cleared back in by Merezhko. Tracked down by Jared Wilson. Bank pass off the boards. There to protect on the far side was Rippon, and he stymied any sort of offensive thrust in the offing for the Oilers, who have to contain back in their own end. Turned over by Gambardella, and eventually swung back to center by Milos Roman as the game settles down here. 9:10 to play in the first period, 1-0 Calgary. On a break now, Cameron Hebig over the line, takes a shot, deflected out of play. With 9:03 to go in the first period, we have reached our first 70-second timeout. We'll be right back. Live coverage of the Oilers-Flames rookie game from Red Deer's EnMAX Centrium continues in just a moment on your home for Edmonton Oilers hockey, 6:30 CHED. Bay at 8:15. Again, Dylan Dubé, probably Calgary's best player on Sunday, along with Tyler Parsons in the pipes, and Parsons has been good again in the first 11 minutes tonight. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live from Red Deer. This is the final rookie game, and Bob and I will be back on the air Monday, 7 o'clock preseason game in Calgary against the Flames, and I'm sure we'll see a number of these players.
We will, because as you know, Jack, the majority of the Flames' top-end players are in China.
We're going to see basically the same team. I mean,
with the exception of 10 guys that have played NHL games,
right?
Yes.
But I mean, there's not going to be a ton, and we've already, seen a few of those guys like Spencer Fu and Andrew Mangiapane, who are not dressed for Calgary tonight. They'll most certainly play on Monday in the preseason opener. So this is the rookie finale, and off the draw, Edmonton goes to work in the offensive zone from the corner and battling hard. Van Stralen, and he's able to create right corner a second opportunity, but immediately taken away by Pahal, and it's cleared back to center. Hard hit by Esposito, flattened his man Roman, and that actually also created an offside call against Calgary because the puck went off Roman's stick and slithered its way into the zone where two Flames had already established concrete position. 8.5 to go first period, 1-0 Calgary.
Let's go to the Oilers injury report brought to you by MIC, proud partner, official medical imaging provider to the Edmonton Oilers. Ostap Safin's a lone injured player. He's got a lower body issue, but some key scratches tonight. Evan Bouchard gets the night off, so does Cooper Marody. Obviously, Caleb Jones and Evan Bouchard playing great together and a pairing together. Tyler Benson and Cooper Marody. So two of the Oilers' top forwards and their best defense pairing so far, not in the lineup.
Off the draw, the Oilers come into the Calgary zone. Not a great deal of speed. The puck being worked along the left corner boards, and a hard hit by Crevier Morin. And we saw that in last night's game against Nate McEwen. The puck chipped by him. He tried to make a play with his right forearm. Dubé had it stripped by Ethan Bear, and the Oilers come the other way, right to left. Tossed in safely by Tyler Vessel. Back to get it. A big hit put on Zavgorodny in the corner. He's got the only goal for the Calgary Flames, the only goal of this game, and it's a breakout pass for Dubé. Walks in right circle, backdoor feed. Probably should have shot it. It was deflected, and it amounts to nothing. A delayed 3-on-1 there. Dubé's got the puck back, turned it over to Ethan Bear, and now it's Edmonton with a chance. But Bear missed Gambardella, who was at the end of his shift, and thus the Oilers will just have to settle for a line change. Flames back in their own zone, and it's Merrick Rippon playing the left-hand side. Lagesson stands his ground at center ice and allowed McLeod to play it back to his D pairing of Kulovich, and now Dave Gust takes control. Kulovich right-hand side for Yamamoto at center ice, absorbs a hard hit from Merrick Rippon, and now coming over to make the play on the puck is Merezhko. Staples his man in the corner. Yamamoto tries to get back in the mix with Glenn Gaudin draped all over him. 7 minutes to play in this first period. Shots are still 6-2 Oilers, but the Flames have the only goal on a backhand deke by Zavgorodny. Out to Lagesson. Wrist shot into a crowd, deflected away from Parsons. Rebound taken by Kulovich. Behind the net for Dave Gust on his backhand centered, and that was fired wide on a one-timer by Yamamoto. Here's Kulovich. Tosses it back behind the net. Yamamoto, backhander, tried to catch Parsons napping, but he was ready, and the puck kicked out to the high slot, cleared by Brett Pollock, the one-time Edmonton Oil King. in from the right-hand side. Overstriding the play was Phillips, and it was cleared by the Oilers' Dave Gust. And now Maximoff, long toss, speared by Parsons, and he'll squeeze it with 6:18 to go in this opening frame. The Oilers on the short end, trailing the Flames 1-0 here in Red Deer tonight. Of course, earlier, a luncheon was held over at the local Holiday Inn here in Red Deer, and Bob had a chance to hear from, among others, John Shannon of Sportsnet, Peter Chiarelli, Bob Nicholson, and Brent Sutter. No stranger to Red Deer, of course. He's the head coach and general manager of the Rebels.
Well, this is one of the top mid-sized CHL markets in hockey in Canada right now, and Brent's done a great job here in Red Deer.
Off the draw, right side of Tyler Parsons. Controlling down low is Nolan Vesey. Cleared up the left-hand side, and eventually it's Samorukov with control of the puck at center ice. Maximoff tries the right-hand side. Now you've got a hard hit by Healy on Esposito. Maximoff tried to follow up Jared Wilson, could not maintain the zone. And now bringing it the other way is Adam Ruzicka. Over the line, hard body check Samorukov. Ruzicka went right through him. Wrist shot, save made by Rodrigue. Rebound juggled. Wrist shot, score. Rodrigue could not control it, and it was just sitting there for D'Artagnan Jolie. And the 6th round pick of the Flames in 2017 deposits one into the empty net. That was a hard shot by Ruzicka. Rodrigue had a couple of chances to pounce on the rebound, and sneaking behind Jared Wilson was Jolie for a dead sitter. It's 2-0.
Well, Dmitry Samorukov and Kirill Maximov were two guys that really excelled in Penticton last year, and they have had rookie tournaments that they'd like to forget. Maximov has not had the same jump up front, and Samorukov's just simply tried to do too much. And turnovers will kill you, and he's had a tough first period here. He's been on the ice, and good prospect. Oilers signed player, 3rd-round pick. They're going to need more of him moving forward.
Once again, Bob, you look at the shot clock in this game and you look at the scoreboard, and it just doesn't match up. And I will say this, and I'd agree with you, that you've got to tie up your man. Wilson certainly needed to account for where Jolie was, but that was a juicy rebound left in the slot.
Yep.
On a shot from Ruzicka that, while somewhat difficult, was not exactly a blazer. Flames bang it in deep, and Calgary goes to work here. Crevier Morin trying to dig it out off the half wall. And now you've got a 4-player pileup. Bear in the mix. Hovering close by is Tyler Vessel. And now Van Stralen. Now you've got total mayhem with 6 guys involved on a puck that's just stapled on that yellow kick plate right beneath the dasher boards. Finally it squirts free, and the Oilers look to tug it out of the zone. Bear does so to Vessel, and it's whacked off the boards, and here comes Evan Pola. Kicked it back to Vessel. In over the line, wrist shot over the glove of Parsons, but just a shade high, and cleared off the boards and out by Olis Matson. And now racing in from the right-hand side and controlling the puck is Mike McMurtry. He was sent toppling off balance and cleared with ease by Vessel. Banked off the wall right back to Zavgorodi, who scored a beautiful goal. 8 minutes into this hockey game to give Calgary a 1-0 lead. Jolie's score on the rebound has left it 2-0. Oilers reestablish control of the puck. Crevier Morin ahead to Gambardella. Now it's Ryan McLeod, left corner offensive zone. Wrist shot along the ice, save made by Parsons. And Hebig was there for the rebound, but it was scooted away from him and cleared by Dubé. Looked for a return pass as he flew toward the middle, played it down on the ice, and that was driven home. A beautiful play by Dubé, hand-eye coordination, and then absolutely ripped home. What a shot taken that time by the Dmitry Zavgorodi that scored the game's first goal. And that one was just in one motion. Zavgorodi able to find the range. Scored 26 times for Rimouski last year. And after a beautiful hand-eye job, and quite frankly, I thought Dubé might have played it with a high stick. But it sat right at Zavgorodi's feet, and in one motion, he buried it.
Well, they're going to have to talk to Samorukov. You're not going to get beat back behind the goal. Stay in front of the net. And last 2 goals, he's been behind the net, but give Dylan Dubé credit. And I got a comparable for you, Jack. A WHL player drafted out of the first round that's made an impact for an NHL team. Absolute driver right now. He plays in Tampa Bay. His name's Braden Point. And I'm not saying Dubé's there yet, but he's appearing to be that type of player, an undersized guy that can drive play. He's had an exceptional go here, successful in the Canadian World Junior program. I mean, he's been directly involved in 2 of the 3 goals.
And that one, again, at live speed, I thought that was close.
Yeah.
In terms of whether he played it with a high stick, but it was an athletic play regardless. And Zavgarodny showing the poise, Bob, and understanding that Rodrigue was no doubt surprised. He just rifled it home in one motion. Did not hesitate. Long shot off the draw to the Rodrigue's left, and that's covered up by goaltender Olivier Rodrigue without a rebound against Josh Healy. Time of the goal, 16-18. Zavgarodny's second and Calgary's third of this first period on 5 shots. McLeod will take the draw against Glenn Gaudin, and he wins it cleanly to Ethan Bear. Drop back behind the net for Marc-Olivier Crevier-Morin. Ahead to McLeod. Right wing Ethan Bear activating over the line against Healy. He'll play it into the corner. Tyler Yamamoto threw it behind the net, got it back, and then had it stripped by Healy. Less than 3 minutes to play here in the first period. Calgary up 3-0. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live from Red Deer. Nice steal by Lagesson on a cross-ice pass for Calgary, but the threat dies when Yamamoto's double-teamed and coughs it up on the right side. Now it's Juuso Valimaki working off a check from Yamamoto, hits center ice and dumps it behind the Oiler defense. Lagesson back together, and again, he's a well-traveled D-man, has had various experiences, but here he turns it over, and now you've got Ruzicka. Lost the puck at his feet, and it was a good thing for Lagesson, who played a year in the USHL, and then 2 years for an NCAA Division I program before heading over to Sweden to play last year near home. Sent in deep by Colin Larkin. Olis Mattsson back to get it for Calgary. He'll wind it around the boards. It's going to be picked up and cleared by Jordan Ernst. Turned over at center ice, and Vesey will swing it ahead for Colin Larkin. He'll grab it in the right corner. Checked by Valimaki. Less than 2 minutes to play in this first period. Sneaking behind the net, stealing Polai, centering, and then healing it wide was Van Straulen. Parsons was a little nonchalant with that puck, Bob, and it almost cost him. Here's Ethan Bear, right point with off-balance Ernst. Stayed in the lane, though. Forced to pass over to Samorukov, and now Luke Esposito high slot. Wrist shot into a crowd block. Bear a drive. That was blocked up top by Ernst. And eventually tracked by Calgary, but not clear. Here's Esposito, stripped, and the Flames will come up ice. Turned over at the Edmonton line, ahead to Polai, and now a backhander off the rush, and a beautiful spinning shot by Luke Esposito off a broken play. Esposito's backhander catches Parsons off guard, and the Oilers are on the board, and you can tell by the roar behind me that while Calgary is fairly well represented tonight, it is decidedly a pro-Oiler crowd.
Well, let's give Samorukov some credit. He was the player that broke the play up in the neutral ice area, started a quick transition back right away, and the Oilers didn't overthink it. Esposito took a whack at it on the back end. Those are sometimes the toughest plays for goaltenders to read. And we got ourselves a 3-1 game.
And again, Polai got it off his stick quickly. He'll get the assist along with Samorukov, who created the initial rush the other way. And now we've got a 3-1 game. Off the face-off, Edmonton gets it in deep. Final minute, first period. Controlled by Merrick Rippon behind his own net for Calgary. He'll drop it off, and it's played up the gut. And now streaking up ice, Milos Raman. Fisher tried to cut inside. That was broken up and dropped by Ryan McLeod up the left-hand side. The announcement of Polai's name on the assist, Bob, as you can hear, draws a roar of approval from his former Red Deer supporters as it's shoveled in down deep by Jake Kulovich. Final 30 seconds of this first period. 3-1 hockey game. Calgary on top. And again, that goal really came out of nowhere. Samorukov broke up the play. Polai a one-touch ahead, and Esposito just a backhander from about 15 feet. You don't see many of those go in unless you're wearing black and gold and have the number 87 on your back. In over the line, Dubé, and that's an offside call. Maybe one move too many as the Flames came rushing up the ice, and we'll have a neutral zone faceoff upcoming. But again, I don't think Tyler Parsons was expecting that type of release. It was eerily reminiscent to another goal scored by a Pittsburgh player against Edmonton years ago. Remember that beautiful goal by Gino Malkin, who kind of whirled, spun, and fired after beating Mark Fane. Not quite as breathtaking, but nevertheless a nice backhander by Luke Esposito. Neutral ice faceoff controlled by Edmonton's Cameron Hebig. And with that, the buzzer sound signaling the end of the first period. The Flames scoring 3 times on 6 shots in that first period as Edmonton once again outchance the Calgary Flames, but find themselves behind 3-1. However, that goal by Esposito certainly gives you hope, as it, I guess, creates the impression that maybe Tyler Parsons is not going to be as unbeatable tonight as he was on Sunday.
Yeah, no question. An opportunity for Edmonton to build some momentum after a late period goal. Good bounce back from Dmitry Samorukov, who had some tough moments. Dylan Dubé was just spectacular in that period for Calgary. The Oilers' top line of McLeod, along with Kailer Yamamoto, really dominating at times 5-on-5. Gambardella out there as well, but it was McLeod and Yamamoto that were driving it. And the Oilers missed some opportunity. They left some loose change around the net, didn't bury it. End result, we're sitting in a 3-1 game.
And in just a moment, we'll have an opportunity to chat with, we are in Red Deer.
Yes.
Bob. And what does Red Deer bring to mind other than Evan Poli and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins?
Mike and Randy Moeller.
Correct. I mean, they don't call him Red Deer Randy for nothing.
Right.
And we don't have Randy with us tonight. He's busy covering the Florida Panthers, of course. But we do have Mike in the house, and Reed Wilkins will have a conversation with him in just a moment. The story in the first period, again, Dmitry Zavgarandy scoring twice on Calgary's first 5 shots on net. D'Artagnan Jolie off a brilliant work by Calgary in front of the Edmonton net, creating an extra rebound against Olivier Rodrigue, popped home the other goal, and then Luke Esposito, the spinning backhander in the final minute 20 of that first period, giving the Oilers some life. It's a 3-1 Flames lead after the opening 20 minutes of play. As I mentioned earlier, Reed Wilkins will be joined by Mike Moeller on the other side of this timeout. We're live from Red Deer's NMAX Centrium with the final game for the Oiler rookies, and it's 3-1 Calgary after 1. This is exclusive season game. Main camp opens Friday on the ice, and then the first preseason game will be Monday back at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. Bob and I will have it for you at 7 o'clock. It's Jack Michaels, it's Bob Stauffer. We're live in Red Deer, 3-1 Flames after 1.
Let's go to the adjustments of the game, brought to you by the Alberta College and Association of Chiropractors. If it hurts, see a chiropractor. Visit albertachiro.com. Oilers need some more stops, and they need to be more opportunistic around the goal. Got to get some offensive confidence going.
Oilers outshot the Flames 10-6 in that first period. Trail 3-1. Didn't get on the board until the final minute 20 on a goal by Luke Esposito, and the Flames barrel their way in, and a quick wrist shot high and wide delivered off the tape of Josh Healy. Rebound collected by Ethan Bear, cleared over to Crevier Morin. Too hard with that pass, but getting a touch on it was Yamamoto, and that negates any sort of icing. Tyler Parsons out to play the puck, and it's chipped up the right-hand side for Brett Pollock. In addition to his Memorial Cup triumph, Tyler Parsons also won a World Junior Gold with Team USA a couple years ago. Game Bob and I watched together in Boston, as I recall. A steal by Adam Olis Matson. That was the one decided in a shootout, am I correct?
Yep. He was good. There was a kid named Troy Terry who was pretty good out of Denver University in that as well, Jack.
William Lagesson off a Flames dump in. Ahead to Jared Wilson, who got beat by Jolie on the rebound for the Flames' second goal. Zavgarandy scored the other 2 for Calgary. Esposito from Poli and Samorukov for Edmonton. So an icing call against the Oilers on a face-off to the left of Olivier Rodrigue, who will play the first 2 periods tonight. And then Stuart Skinner will get mop-up duty. He allowed 4 goals on 13 shots against the Flames on Sunday. Meanwhile, we're anticipating that Tyler Parsons will give way to Mason McDonald, another second-round pick of the Flames in net. At some point in this second period, we expect just past the 10-minute break. A steal by Valimaki on an Oiler counter. Now Dylan Dubé has a step on net, backdoor, and Valimaki was sitting there, and the puck was sent into the corner. But there's Dylan Dubé creating the Flames' first power play of the evening. And again, he's got that deceptive speed, Bob, kind of a little bit of a change of pace, and he fooled Lagesson, got behind him, even though it didn't appear to either you or I that he was going that fast. All of a sudden, he was by him.
Well, again, people will say that's pretty lofty comparable. You're putting out Braden Point with Dylan Dubé, but Dylan Dubé is going to have a chance to make, based on what we've seen here over these 2 games, Jack, he's got a chance to make the Calgary Flames. I mean, he brings them, he's got tremendous speed, quickness, and he flat out can make plays. He's been dynamic every time he's been on the ice.
You mentioned won a Western Hockey League championship, Leon Draisaitl, a few years back in Kelowna, and then later World Junior Gold. Off the draw, puck squirts off the tape of Zavgorodi, who already has 2 and on net. And a save made by Olivier Rodrigue. We'll have another face-off to the left of Rodrigue. This is a Brick penalty kill. The Brick saving you money on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Esposito, Gambardella, Kulovic, and Jared Wilson out there for the Edmonton Oilers, who again are being coached up in this game by Jay Woodcroft, the new head man down in Bakersfield. The American Hockey League affiliate with the coaching staff changes announced in the offseason. Trent Yanni, Glenn Gulletson, and Manny Vivrios, coach of the Western Hockey League champion Swift Current Broncos, all added to the Oilers staff. Dump in by the Flames. They're on the power play for the first time tonight with a 3-1 lead. Gambardella, though, with a steal and a length of the ice clear, and once again forced to retreat. Calgary, of course, Glenn Gaudin played for Manny Vivrios in Swift Current last year and was far and away the leading scorer on the team. Finished 3rd in the league overall with 125 points. Errant pass right-hand side, and that will be another icing call against the Flames. This power play has sputtered significantly for Calgary, who beat Edmonton 7-3 on Sunday, and a familiar script tonight with Edmonton owning the shot clock, but the Flames currently owning a 2-goal lead.
And he had a great power play in Swift last year, and they had Alexei Heponiemi, a second-round pick of Florida, who's playing over in Europe this season, along with Tyler Steenbergen, who was a star, scored the game winner for Canada in the World Juniors. He's a Arizona pick. Those guys, their power play was around 28%. Lots of fluidity to it. We'll see if that transports to what Viveiros attempts to do with the Oilers this year.
Off the draw, Brett Pollock at center ice. He'll kick it back, and the Flames resetting. Pollock last year for Calgary's affiliate at Stockton scored 10 times. Juuso Välimäki shakes off a check, gives it up to Pollock, who won a Memorial Cup with the Edmonton Oil Kings in 2014. But it's turned over down low in the corner. Ethan Bear, the strip and steal against Matthew Phillips, and that'll chase the Flames all the way back into their own zone. Eventually retrieved by Välimäki up the left-hand side, Milos Roman. Not a lot of urgency on this Calgary power play. Not a lot of pace to it at all. Gaudin over to Ruzicka. An errant toss back to the point, and Välimäki has to reset at center ice once more. And now just 10 seconds left. Yamamoto a steal at center ice. Breaks in around Välimäki. Shoots and just wide from the top of the right circle. Just missed the left post as he went back against the grain. Flames bring it the other way, but now Edmonton is at even strength. Milos Roman. Wrist shot from the left circle, clipped the side of the net, and it's driven down the ice by Samorukov. That'll be an icing call with 3.5 gone by in the second period. So an indifferent Flames power play and a missed opportunity from Kyler Yamamoto. Did that catch the very outside of the left post?
It did, and he was moving, and he made the right play. Shot back across the grain, tried to beat Parsons high to the blocker's side. Good opportunity there.
And he did. It just clipped the outside of the post. On a second look at it, you can see it just graze the iron. Kiss it. Off the draw, shot from Merezhko, and that was deflected up and out of play, setting a screen in front. Yacine Elise, who, as we told you on Sunday, played with former Oiler defenseman Tom Gilbert last year in Nuremberg, and that's been Elise's team for 8 consecutive seasons. He's 25 years of age.
We mentioned on Sunday, Dominic Cahoon was the free agent a lot of people targeted out of Germany, signed with the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Oilers acquired on him as well.
Off the draw, Merrick Rippon funnels it toward the Oiler net, but it's eventually taken by Maximoff and cleared. Out of the reach of Colin Larkin, but the Flames were able to regroup at center. Big hit on D'Artagnan Jolie from behind by Maximoff, and then flipped in by Crevier Morin. After it is Rippon, beaten off the puck, Colin Larkin. He's checked immediately by Merezhkov, who goes about 6'5", 230. Puck squeezed out of there and brought up ice by Jolie. He's at center. Leaves it for Ernst, who hesitated. He was about to come off on a line change. Shot it behind the net. Rodrigue protects the far post against Elise. Makes the save. And a clear for Ethan Bear. Didn't get all he wanted on that attempted dump in. And the Flames will send it down the middle of the ice. I did not see a redirection, but they'll wave it off anyways. Crevier Morin off to Ethan Bear. His outlet on target for Luke Esposito, and from center ice, Von Strahlen is able to knock it into Flames territory. Gathered quickly by Pahal and worked up the right-hand side. Left by Zavgarodny, and overstriding the play is Dylan Dubé. Evan Polai able to take over. Quick, nifty one-touch pass by Esposito to Von Strahlen. Dropped it off. Oh, Esposito was buried by Pahal. Back to the point, William Lagesson. Wrist shot, missed left side. Rebound, Polai, and he just missed on a wrister from the left circle. Another rebound out to Esposito. Fired wide by Lagesson. Now it's Jared Wilson. Hung up with Zavgarodny on the far corner boards. It's Josh Healy. Up to Dubé. Took the hit from Van Strahlen to make the play back to center. And now you've got Lagesson. Van Strahlen whacks it into the offensive zone. Josh Healy is there. And he'll chisel it out to Dubé, who resets at his own line, then turned it over. Nearly got away with he did get away with a penalty on Yamamoto, who shook himself free and then tossed it back to an open Samorukov. Left point, Yamamoto open, down low. Quick shot off the side of the net. Parsons able to get the rebound as the Flames extremely sloppy over the last 30 to 45 seconds in their own zone. And Yamamoto nearly made them pay. In fact, it was a pretty good look from Samorukov to go back to Yamamoto point blank against Parsons, but he didn't have a great angle as he was in pretty tight. Flames still lead at 3-1, 14-14 on the second period clock.
Luke Esposito got filled in by Paul. I was opening himself up for the hit, and he got drilled. And a good play by Samorukov, and a bit of a double clutch from Tyler Yamamoto.
Braden Pahal hit the century mark in penalty minutes a year ago, and again he'll captain the Prince Albert Raiders, another of Leon Draisaitl's former Western Hockey League teams. While I'm at it, face-off coming back into the Calgary zone after an icing call immediately following the face-off.
His former defense coach on the Oilers staff on the bench right now, Dave Manson, and Curtis Miskey was, along with Pahal, probably the two best players for Prince Albert in the opening round of the playoffs last year.
Face-off win for Gaudin. Played off the end boards by Olis Mattsson and then whipped up by Phillips. Looking left side, and Gaudin created for Valimaki. Now a drop pass. Phillips ducks inside, but McLeod closed quarters on him and shook the puck free for Dave Gust. It's advanced out to center and tossed in by Kulovich as Yamamoto goes back on the attack. He'll peel off. He needs a change. Calgary comes up ice, spoons it back to center. Ethan Bear able to cut that off as Hebig replaces Yamamoto, but the Oilers got caught, and Phillips streaks in from the right-hand side. Circles and centers out of the reach of Brett Pollock. Gambardella, one touch over to Bear, and he'll find an open Ryan McLeod. Over the line, too far for the outstretched Cameron Hebig, and the Flames come away with a puck. Long toss by Mareshko, and another good look. Brett Pollock did not field that pass cleanly. Otherwise, he might have had a breakaway. Now, it's Rippon maintaining the zone for Calgary, but the Flames got their signals crossed, ran into one another, and turned it over at center. Here's Hebig, but he's, in turn, intercepted by Mareshko, who negates and sends it ahead for Roman. Wrist shot from the right circle, and a save made by Olivier Rodrigue on a chance for Yassine Elise, and a good save by Rodrigue, and he controls the rebound as well. And that's what's been much better here in the second period, is Rodrigue has not issued second chances to the Flames. 12:54 to play in the middle frame, and it's 3-1 Calgary.
Zach Fisher was driving the front of the net there, and he took a look up, and who did he see but number 81, Jared Wilson. I think he thought he maybe saw a bit of him too much on Sunday's game in Calgary.
That was a lopsided decision in favor of Jared Wilson. Again, the product of RPI. Oilers up the left-hand side. Every once in a while, Bob, you'll see, a guy out of one of those programs who's sneaky tough. And, here's a turnover by Parsons off a simple dump, and it's loose in front. Larkin couldn't get a shot away. And eventually, it's going to be cleared up the left-hand side. I think Gambardella would have to be on that list based on Sunday's result as well. Would you not agree, Bob?
He did quite well. He's strong. He's also a mature kid.
Well,
he's a man.
He is. 1 year pro, and like you said, more in his mid-20s than his early 20s. Flames guilty of an icing call here down the right-hand side. But again, sometimes because there's no fighting allowed in an NCAA Division I program, often there's no book on those guys. And I think Mareshko could fill a couple of volumes after his experience on Sunday.
Ever hear of Bob Paradise? Ask Clark Gillies about him.
Off the draw, there's a backhander, and Polai denied by Tyler Parsons. Now, is he part of the Paradise family in the NHL? I mean, there's a couple of Paradises.
No, he was a
NHL.
Minnesota guy,
Okay.
not an NCAA guy at that time, but a Minnesota guy that nobody knew a lot about, and he did a number once on Clark Gillies when he was a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's who Paradise played for.
Chipped up the right-hand side, and a hard hit leveled on Elise. He goes back after Polai, who's certainly had an impact again, and it's 2 consecutive rookie camps that Evan Polai has impressed, the one-time Red Deer Rebel. Up the left-hand side, Jolie couldn't get there. Ruzicka regrouping for Calgary at its own blue line with a 3-1 lead. Here comes Adam Olis-Mattsson. He was tripped, and that's going to be a penalty against the Oilers. Bit of a reach there, and an unnecessary penalty taken by Ryan Van Stralen. He'll head to the box at 8:31, and Calgary, who did not show much on its first power play of this second period, will get another chance. Leading by 2 goals, despite the fact the Oilers are still up on the shot clock 13-10.
Oilers have been a little quieter. This game has settled down a bit. Not quite as frenetic as it was for stretches in the opening period.
So the Oilers send out Crevier Morin along with Bear, Colin Larkin, and Nolan Vesey on the brick penalty kill unit. Face-off win for Colin Larkin. Crevier Morin reels it in, sends it off the left-hand glass and down the ice. Tyler Parsons out to handle for Calgary. Flames did not play an extra rookie game, so they're just doing the home and home with Edmonton, if you will, although they don't have to go all the way up to Edmonton, just Red Deer tonight. Juuso Valimaki, cross-ice pass, one-timer ripped wide by Olis-Mattsson. Rebound collected by Mike McMurtry. He was tripped up, got it to Valimaki. Back to McMurtry. Cross ice. Olis-Mattsson tried to center, and that was deflected away. Check it was Dubé. And that puck was deflected out of play by a sliding Crevier Morin. A guy we didn't know much about, Bob, but he's certainly been engaged. And a guy
got some bite.
I was going to say, he's going to be pushing for some AHL playing time. 1:25 left in the Calgary power play. Jay Woodcroft will change it up. Gambardella and Esposito now out there along with Lagesson and Kulovic. Another face-off win for Edmonton. Olis-Mattsson knocked it down, but could only hold it in momentarily as Gambardella and Esposito force it back inside. Check it, it's Lagesson and now Jared Wilson on the penalty-killing unit. Centering pass Ruzicka, intercepted by Gambardella, and here come the Oilers shorthanded. 2-on-2. Esposito couldn't reel in the pass from Gambardella, and Calgary afforded another opportunity. Ruzicka gives it up, and a quick shot by Gaudin is held by Olivier Rodrigue, and a face-off coming to his left. The shot came from outside the blue line, but the Flames will now get an attacking zone draw with 56 seconds left in their power play and 10:25 remaining in the first period, and that'll be all for Tyler Parsons. As we anticipated, coming out at the midway point, he'll check out of the game with 12 saves on 13 shots, and on comes Mason McDonald, a second-round pick of the Flames in 2014. He was sub-900 in 27 games in the ECHL last year, playing for Kansas City. The Kansas City Mavericks in the ECHL had 4 games in Stockton, and likewise, save percentage .875. Off the draw, shot lined wide, and the rebound played up the right-hand side by the Oilers. Yamamoto and Vessel mopping up here on the PK, which is down to 35 seconds. Samorukov and Kulovic out there for the Oilers, completing the quartet as it's given up by Olis-Mattsson, turned over, and an easy clear for Kulovic, and now Calgary is time for one last rush. Mason McDonald will drop it off, and the Flames are going to have to hustle here. Looking up ice is Valimaki. Ruzicka. Left-hand side, Elise. Poke checked away. Dave Gust forced it back to center. Jolie at the red. He'll gain the line, top of the right circle. Kick it back, Elise, and he muffed a pass back to the point, and that'll do it for the Calgary power play. Boy, 2 indifferent-looking power plays for the Calgary Flames, Bob. Not much going on. Up the left-hand side, Gust to steal. Center ice Valimaki and offside whistled against Calgary. We'll talk more about the power play and give you a bit of a scouting report on Mason McDonald when we come back midway through the second period. The Flames 3, the Oilers 1. You're listening to live coverage of Edmonton Oilers rookie hockey from the NMAX Centrium in Red Deer on 630 CHED. Calgary, 9:25 to play, second period. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live from Red Deer as the Oilers rookies thus far 1-1, looking to salvage a split with their Calgary counterparts tonight in Red Deer. Flames scored the game's first 3 goals. Then Edmonton got one back on a nifty backhander from Luke Esposito, his second goal in as many nights. And that's where we sit. There's been no scoring thus far in the second period. An icing call coming against Calgary and a face-off to the left of Mason McDonald, Bob, who came out of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League with pretty decent numbers in an offensive-minded league, but he's kind of stalled at the pro level. Hasn't gotten it over 900 in either of his 2 ECHL campaigns.
Well, that kind of says it all. And we talked about Zach Fucali on last night's broadcast. Another second-round goaltender out of the queue that's had some struggles elevating his play at the next level.
Off the draw, you've got Colin Larkin. Tried to nudge it out in front. That was intercepted and cleared by McMurtry, but not out of the zone. Held in by Colin Larkin. Battled for, controlled by Zavgarodny, who has a pair of goals in this game. He's over the line. Right circle, wrist shot, and a save made by Olivier Rodrigue. And he was quiet in net that time. And once again in this second period, excellent rebound control by the Oilers' second-round pick from this summer's NHL draft in Dallas.
A little bit of an exchange there between Kirill Maximov, Jack, who to me looks a wee bit frustrated. And he was working over the Russian defenseman out of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Mereshko has had a couple tilts.
And again, he's 1-1 in those tilts. Off the face-off, right-hand side. Trying to hang on to it was Healy. Kept it in for the moment, and then it was slid past him by Kulovich. No icing call, puck on edge, and Pahal after it in the corner, but Gambardella beats him out of that corner. Tried to give it back to Kulovich, who took a hit to make the play against Jordan Ernst and keep it inside the zone. Now Tyler Vessel getting worked over by Josh Healy. Gambardella, wrist shot, score! Cameron Hebig, a seeing eye laser, top left corner. The Oilers are right back in this game. They trail it 3-2. And talk about frustrated. Cameron Hebig had missed out on a couple of opportunities. That time he showed the quick release that resulted in a 40-goal campaign in the Western Hockey League a year ago.
Well, Jack, that's the word on Hebig. He can shoot the pill. And he didn't need much time there to let her fly. And the added advantage for him is he's also a right shot. And the Oilers could use some effective right shots down the road in this organization. They're hoping to hit on a Marody or a Hebig, who they added to the organization last year. Nice finish there.
Icing call against Calgary from center. But, of course, it's created by, and again, we sometimes see this, especially in the corners and in the subtle battles in rookie games, when you've got an accomplished pro out there like Gambardella, effective body positioning, a nice feed in front, and Hebig takes advantage.
But he got a lot on that one.
Oh, he did.
And he elevated it up in a hurry.
Right face-off dot and a beauty over the right shoulder of Mason McDonald. Now, off the draw, wrist shot from William Lagesson doesn't hit the net. Quick shot off the rebound, coming off the end boards by Gus. That clipped the side of the goal, and it was cleared by the Flames up the right-hand boards. Vessel will get the second assist on the scoring play as the Oilers, left to right, advance the puck through center. Flames reel it in. It's Brett Pollock now with 7.5 to go in this second period. Oilers have cut what was once a 3-0 deficit down to 3-2. Dump in, Pollock. Tried to set up Matthew Phillips. He was interfered with by Lagesson, and that allows the Oilers to roll it up the left-hand side for Gust. He cuts to his right at center, gives it up to the activating Jared Wilson. Shielded from the puck by Juuso Valimaki. And ultimately it's Brett Pollock trying to contain in his own corner for Calgary. He does so. Olis Matson is open, and he'll skate the puck up to center. Carefully bumped in by Gaudin, and coming out to play it is Rodrigue. Up the left-hand side, Polai does a nice job making sure it's twisted back to center, and resetting is Olis Matson one more time. Send it over to Merrick Rippon, up the left-hand side, touched in by Ellies. After it is Crevier Morin. He was blasted by Zach Fisher. Overrunning the play briefly was Luke Esposito, but he got back on top of the puck and now has control in his own zone. Backhanded it off to Ethan Bear, swung it across to Crevier Morin, and here come the Oilers left to right. Esposito had trouble locating the puck, ripping ahead, and he missed an open Ellies for what would have been a breakaway. Elise tracks it down in the right corner. Beats Crevier Morin. Drops it off for Zach Fisher. He's crunched against the boards by Ethan Bear, and a fierce battle for the puck ensues. 4 players involved. Elise trying to offer support. Bear and Esposito there for Edmonton. And that puck just stapled against the wall right now. Still grappling for it. Bear, Esposito, kicked free. Rippon joins the fray. And he's engaged with Van Stralen. Now it's Fisher winding it around to the opposite side where Evan Poli will take a skate, cut in front of his own net, and break out on his own. Hits center ice and then turned it over at the Calgary line. Off that giveaway, it's McMurtry to Dylan Dubé. Cuts inside, spins, dishes, high slot, and fanning on it was Pahal. It's a 2-on-1 for the Oilers. Samorukov and Poli. Samorukov, left circle, wrist shot, save. Rebound, score! Evan Poli! He ties the game as the Oilers have rallied from a 3-0 deficit for the equalizer. And it's Poli returning to his Red Deer roots.
Well, unlucky break for Pahal at the blue line and a clean cut 2-on-1 the whole way for the Oilers. And Samorukov makes the right play, takes the shot, and it's a shot pass option because he fires it right off the left pad of McDonald, and breaking to the goal, unmolested on the rebound, was the Oilers. Evan Poli, he had 30 plus as a 20-year-old in the WHL. He's not going to miss that one.
And Mason McDonald has been greeted with 2 goals on 4 shots, and Edmonton has tied up the game, rallying from 3-0 down. Time 14:36, 2 goals in less than 3 minutes, and Edmonton is back even. Off the rush, backhanded wide, controlled by Ernst, and then juggled by Jolie. And you're right, I mean, the key there was Pahal fanning on the initial shot. Sent in deep by Edmonton. Here's Colin Larkin. Tried to cut to the interior. Kicked it out. Kulovic shot redirected. Bouncing puck save made by McDonald. Rebound. Vesey was in the vicinity. Larkin kicked it back to Samorukov. Then saucered it across. Vesey a one-timer to save made by McDonald. Rebound Kulovic. Right side of the net. And coming up with a loose puck is Adam Ruzicka. He'll glide to center. Chip it behind. Maximov. Wrist shot. Save made. Rebound. And unable to finish was Jolie. Rodrigue left one out there that time, but Jolie could not put it home, and Edmonton and Calgary remain knotted at 3. Turned over by the Flames at their own blue line after an Edmonton dump in, and it's Gambardella trying to create space for Hebig, who cut it to 3-2, and then Samorukov and Poli executing the 2-on-1 to tie it. Long shot, Lagesson speared by Mason McDonald with 4:07 to play in this second period. And the Oilers once again out shooting the Flames in this frame. 10-6 in the first, 10-7 here in the second. And they've tied it up.
Jack, in the lexicon of new age sport jargon and sports statistics, hockey analytics, Dmitry Samorukov has had a high affinity for the Oilers in this game.
Yes.
He's been involved in everything on both ends of the ice.
That's an accurate assessment. Off the draw, Yamamoto. The game is exciting when he's out there, that's for sure. Here's a lead pass by Matthew Phillips for the Flames. Center ice, Marejko, second whack at it, drives it in deep, but he chases Phillips back onside. And now Ryan McLeod, who can really fly, takes a lead pass from Yamamoto, and he's got a step on Josh Healy, protecting the puck from the right side out to Wilson. Now it's Lagesson for Edmonton. Oiler prospects looking for their first lead. Shot by Wilson, blocked, and now pursuing is Brett Pollock. He hits a man at center, it's Gaudin. Now it's Pollock, walking in left wing, can't get a shot away. And it's loose and grabbed by Gust. And I haven't seen either with Pollock or Gaudin the requisite pace that I think they're going to need to succeed at the next level.
I think that's a fair assessment on the challenges they have in their game.
Up to center, and a quick shot off the rush by Vessel sent wide. Rebound came off the boards, cleared by Calgary. Hebig intercedes at his own blue line, then Bear was knocked off the puck. Here's a chance for Fisher. Hard wrist shot, and Rodrigue made the save. Couldn't find the rebound, but Gambardella, his teammate, did, and cleared it to center for Edmonton. Shot back in by Olis Madsen. Around the boards, Bear absorbed a tough hop there. Couldn't make the play he wanted. And now it's Roman looking to keep this play alive for Calgary with less than 2:45 on the clock here in this second period. 3-all. Calgary led 3-0 heading to the final 90 seconds of the first period. And then Edmonton scored a momentum-turning goal, as it turned out. In over the line, Valimaki coughed it up between circles in the Edmonton zone, and a clear for the Oilers back to center. Roman dumped it back in. Bear looked to move it out, but McMurtry took over instead for Calgary. 4 years at Northeastern, one of the many Boston schools. Of course, annually part of the Beanpot tournament, and now we're going to have a penalty called here with 2:04 to go. High stick. Just a 2-minute minor. And at 17:56, I think Luke Esposito is the guilty party. And the Flames will be awarded a third power play. And that's something, and I know it's a rookie game, so we won't get too involved in it, but they've lost some momentum on their power play. They were up 3-1. They had 2 power plays to maybe kind of run away and hide in this game. Didn't score, didn't come close to scoring either time. And then Edmonton has come back with 2 even-strength goals.
That's when you know 2 guys have worked together for far too long. We've finished each other's sentences.
Absolutely.
But you got to generate on the power play. You cannot lose momentum. We witnessed an inverse relationship over the last 2 years. Best Oilers power plays since the 80s and 16-17, and then the worst power play in the NHL last year. So you saw both ends of that in the last 2 years in Edmonton.
Off the draw, you've got McMurtry to Valimaki. Pressured up top by Tyler Vessel as Calgary looks to regain the lead. McMurtry, one-timer Valimaki, and that was blocked, I believe, by Dave Gust, who's out there with Vessel. And then defensively, Kulovich and Lagesson. Top of the right circle, skittering down low is Dubé. Behind the net, it's dropped off. McMurtry, high slot. Valimaki, not a soft touch on his initial puck touch. Flipped off the heel of his blade, and an easy clear for Kulovich.
Well, a little surprising because Valimaki is a really composed, elite defenseman. He has a chance to be excellent for the Flames down the road.
Point per game guy in the Western Hockey League from the back end. Banked in by the Flames, and that forces Rodrigue to cover. He'll get a face-off to his right. There's a 4-second differential in terms of the end of the penalty and the end of the power play. Right now it's a brick penalty kill for the Oilers for another minute 12, minute 16 on the game clock, and we're tied at 3 live from Red Deer. Bob and I have spent the whole day down here meeting with various civic officials as well as some of our bosses and a colleague of ours in John Shen. Talking a lot of preseason hockey and some of the events that have transpired in the NHL. It's been an interesting September, we'll put it that way. Off the draw, high slot, Olis Matson. Low wrister and a kick save made by goaltender Olivier Rodrigue. Spoon to the corner. Top of the right circle. Handled. Cross ice. Gaudin left circle. Back door. Open man. Oh, and surprisingly, Ruzicka elected to pass rather than shoot there, Bob. He looked to be open right face-off dot. You can't pass the puck into the net. You've heard my partner say that on more than one occasion. The Oilers take advantage of Ruzicka's extra pass and clear it back inside the Calgary line. Now we're down to a half minute left in the period. Olis Matson hits the line. But again, Flames not playing with a great deal of urgency here. Their pace has slowed significantly in this second period. McLeod looking for one last clear. Ruzicka hangs onto it, then was taken off the puck. Bear tried to clear it, hit a loose glove on the ice, and Phillips takes advantage. Walks into the slot, couldn't get a shot away. McLeod failed to clear. 15 seconds now, it's Roman. He didn't pull the trigger. Still spinning, waiting, dishing, high slot, and Valimaki with another poor play at the blue line. Just a sitter that hopped over a stick, and Ruzicka will run out of time by the time Valimaki can get it back on his stick. So Valimaki with a couple of mistakes there on the power play really cost his club a pair of potential scoring opportunities, and the Calgary Flames have wasted a 3-0 lead in this game, and full marks to the Oiler rookies for taking charge in that second period once they wiped out a pair of Calgary power play opportunities. Oilers finished the period again with 10 shots. The Flames counter with 9, but 3 failed power plays for Calgary in that middle frame, and 2 even-strength goals, one for Cameron Hebig and then one for former Red Deer Rebel Evan Poli. That's the equalizer, and those 2 goals in a span of 2 minutes and 38 seconds have turned what was a 3-1 deficit into a 3-3 tie with 20 minutes left to play in rookie camp.
Well, Flames had a little bit more zone time on their third power play late in that period, but again, Valimaki, who Bob Torrey this year in Tri-City, and Kelly Buchberger, Kelly's the new head coach there. I mean, they would dream that he would come back, but he is not headed back there. He's going to be down in the American Hockey League this year. They've also got Michael Rasmussen in that organization. He's got a chance to make the Detroit Red Wings Valimaki, you expect him to make those plays because until those 2 puck bobbles, he was the best defenseman on the ice for both teams. So,
Deer. Jack Michaels along with Bob Stauffer as we get you set for the start of the third period. 3-all, Edmonton, Calgary, even strength. And this, the final 20 minutes for the Oiler rookies to make their closing statements before main camp opens on Friday, at least on the ice. Medicals testing tomorrow, and we're underway. Oilers have rallied from 3-0 in this game. Stuart Skinner, the Edmonton product, as we told you to start the third period after Olivier Rodrigue stopped 12 of the 15 shots he faced in this hockey game. And the third period starts with Matthew Phillips for Calgary, barreling down the right-hand side, circles from behind the net, kicked it out to the point. Sharp angle shot fought off by Skinner, who struggled at times on Sunday afternoon, turning aside 9 of 13 in an eventual 7-3 Oiler loss to the Flame rookies. That was at the Saddledome. Tonight we're at Rendiers, NMAX Centrium. Capacity a little over 7,000 and home to the Red Deer Rebels. Gambardella off to Bear. And he'll slap one wide as he entered the Calgary zone from just inside the blue line, kicked off the end boards and cleared out by Juuso Valimaki. Flames 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. That's played a factor as their 3-0 lead is faded away. And now we're dead even here as we open the third period. 19 minutes left in regulation. Up the right-hand side, Zav Garandny, who scored 2 of those 3 first-period goals for Calgary. They led 3-0 entering the final 90 seconds of the first period. Oilers got one back on a backhander from Luke Esposito, and Edmonton has built on that momentum. Flames back into the offensive zone. Long shot by Olis Mattsson, turned aside by Skinner. Rebound handled by Crevier Morin, did not clear. Valimaki off to Dubé. Beautiful look. And Zav Garandny got it back, top of the circle, and a quick shot, and that was blocked as an attempt by Ernst does not find its way through. And Stuart Skinner eventually collected the puck at the feet of Ethan Bear. It was not a pretty-looking shift for Edmonton in its own end, but on the other hand, the Oilers were in some lanes there, Bob, and Calgary couldn't get a clean shot away.
Well, again, it's that man, Dylan Dubé. I mean, he is just creating every time he's on the ice for the Calgary Flames. Brad Treliving had the majority of the Flames brass over in China, and they got themselves a player in Dubé.
Face-off win for Adam Ruzicka. High slot shot, and that skittered off the glove of Stuart Skinner, taken by Merrick Rippon. And now in the corner comes D'Artagnan Jolie. Couldn't get started. Colin Larkin able to clear back to center, and now he'll have a hand pass whistled with 2 minutes gone by in the third period. D'Artagnan Jolie has a goal in this game, one of 3 for Calgary. And Bob, you got the inside scoop on how D'Artagnan came to pass, and as we suspected, it does have 3 musketeers meaning behind it.
Yeah, from the man of an iron mask, D'Artagnan has 7 brothers, and they convinced the parents to call him D'Artagnan.
Well, that's the situation, Bob, when you're the last and you've got 6
They ran out of names.
Well, that and you are powerless. So whatever your brothers are into at the time, they're going to come up with. I mean, be glad it wasn't He-Man or something like that. Up the middle of the ice, or Macho Man Randy Savage. Ruzicka will bump it in deep. Stuart Skinner out to handle the puck for Edmonton in the pipes. Up the left-hand side, it's Colin Larkin. Skinner last year down the stretch, a workhorse for Swift Current. Led the Broncos to a Western Hockey League championship, and then he and the team seemed to run out of gas at the Memorial Cup. Josh Healy under control for Calgary in his own end as Edmonton falls back into a defensive posture. We've played 3 relatively uneventful minutes here in this third period. Final rookie game for both squads. Edmonton opens up the preseason at the Saddledome Monday at 7 as the Flames take another icing call. And we've had a real sputtering start to this third period. And we might as well set the schedule for you again. The Oilers open main camp at Rogers Place on Friday in Edmonton. Preseason opener next Monday at the Saddledome, 7 o'clock. Then the very next night, will be in Vancouver for an 8:30 face-off. And a week from tomorrow, Edmonton plays its first home preseason game. That's on September the 20th, 7 o'clock, Rogers Place, and the opponent will be the Winnipeg Jets. Off the face-off, Oilers curl back into their own end. Dave Gust looking right side for Ryan McLeod. Skates into the puck, put it behind the net. Yamamoto bumped off course, but Gust was there to scoop it up. Crevier Morin lines a drive into traffic, and that fell at the feet of McLeod. He'll maintain the zone for Gust. One-timer bare off balance, kicked off a skate behind the net off the plexiglass. Yamamoto trying to hunt it down. Productive year last year in Spokane. 22 goals, 68 points for Yamamoto, and again, that was an injury-shortened campaign. Whipped around the boards, McLeod. From the right half wall, played back behind the net. McLeod kind of overskated the puck, and Calgary looked to clear. Couldn't get it out. McLeod, stutter step back behind the net, kicked it out to the point, broken up and chopped off the boards and brought up ice by Zach Fisher. Right circle, dishes off, and it was late getting the puck to Brett Pollock. Picked off, and an alert play once more, and then given right back by Kulovich. The steal by Pollock, the wrist shot, and that glanced off the shoulder of goaltender Stuart Skinner and flew high and wide. Off the glass, cleared by Gambardella. So Kulovich taketh away, and then he gave it. And Pollock could not finish. In from the right-hand side, Vessel able to pinwheel his way to the right corner. Game still tied at 3, 4.5 gone by, third period. Jack Bob and a sellout crowd of 7,000 packed into the NMAX Centrium in rainy Red Deer tonight. And I've heard whispers that there's snowflakes have fallen back in Sherwood Park in Edmonton. Here's Tyler Vessel. Tried to center. That was picked off. And you've got Dylan Dubé, who, as Bob has mentioned, has been brilliant. Dishing off Phillips. Back to Dubé, and that sailed between his legs. Zavgarodny, who has 2 goals tonight, couldn't catch up to it. It was lifted off the glass and safely back inside the Calgary blue line by Gambardella. Settled by Healy, dropped off to Dubé with a head of steam, a wrist shot off the pads of goaltender Stuart Skinner. Rebound flew into the corner for Matthew Phillips from the right circle. Centered, and a quick shot and a save made on Dubé by Skinner. And Dubé, when he kicked it back to Healy, that pass took a bobble and hopped over the stick blade of Josh Healy, but another superb shift turned in by Dylan Dubé. You're right, Bob. I mean, they've got a player there. Here's the lead pass, and Ruzicka's got a breakaway. Backhander, 5-hole score. And Calgary's back in front. Edmonton caught napping, and Ruzicka down the middle of the ice took a one-touch pass and tucked a backhander 5-hole to beat Stuart Skinner. And it's now 4-3 Calgary with 14:18 to play.
Adam Ruzicka scored 36 goals last season for the Sarnia Sting. 4th-round pick in 2017. Jack, he looked like a goal scorer in that situation. They busted him free. Kirill Maximov was trailing on the play. He's a forward. And Ruzicka sifted one through the 5-hole on Skinner.
But the play there was the neutral zone one-touch to Ruzicka that created that breakaway opportunity. Beautiful look, and Calgary's back in front 4-3. A little less than 6 minutes having elapsed here in the third period. Off the center ice face-off, Edmonton got it in deep. Samorukov could not maintain the zone. Calgary brings it the other way, and Samorukov actually picked off a pass at his own blue line and charges up ice with control left corner, centering pass, and that was there. But Van Stralen did not get a backhander cleanly off. Samorukov, a little offensive touch, had 34 points a year ago in the OHL. Defending back at his own end is Kulovich, and he'll deny Calgary entry. Phillips was the man with the pass to Ruzicka, and indeed, they announced it as Christensen, but he's not in the game tonight, so I assume it was 47 and not 57.
Yep.
So Matthew Phillips with a beautiful look. He had a 48-goal season last year after scoring 50 the year prior for the Victoria Royals. And that combination works for the go-ahead goal. Zach Fisher enters the zone. Long slap shot, easy glove save made by Skinner. Rebound advanced by Yamamoto to center. Lagesson jumps up in the play as the Oilers attack from right to left. It's turned over at the Calgary line. And once more, it's Dylan Dubé on the ice. Backhands it in deep. They'll wave off any sort of icing. Edmonton has an opportunity to regroup, and it's Yamamoto moving it to the swift McLeod. Ahead to Lagesson. Back to McLeod. Wrist shot, and a save made by McDonald. Yamamoto on the rebound. Fell down. Otherwise, he had an empty net for a wraparound. He just fell down, caught an edge. And a clear for Josh Healy. McMurtry. Left side. Dubé scampering up ice. Dishes off. Shot by Bahal, and that was blocked And the Oilers come the other way, and Bahal raced back to center immediately. Bob did not want to get caught as he was in the second period after fanning on his own attempt. Olis Madsen re-enters the zone with a wrist shot along the ice. Skinner flicked that one aside. Lagesson on the rebound for the Oiler rookies, who trail 4-3 here with 12 minutes to play. Lagesson could not get it out. Dubé cuts inside. Ethan Baird chopped him off the puck. Hunting it down initially was McMurtry, but he couldn't find it cleanly, and it was advanced to Vessel for Edmonton. Down the right side of the ice comes Gambardella. He's checked by Olis Madsen, and the puck loose in the far corner. Vessel offers support, and you've got 4 players piled up in the far corner. Edmonton trailing 4-3. On the ice comes Kirill Maximov to offer support. Gambardella swung it to the point. Crevier Morin over to Jared Wilson. He'll move it along the left-hand boards, cut off by Valimaki, and the Flames will carefully spoon it inside the Edmonton blue line and get a change. Maximov collects the puck for Edmonton, weaving his way through 2 men, and at center ice with a head of steam. Tried to sneak into the high slot for Colin Larkin. That was broken up. Brett Pollock for the Flames on his backhand to center ice, and Merezhkov has it deflect off his stick and hurtle out of play with 11:03 to go in the third period. 4-3 our score in favor of Calgary.
8-1 the shots on goal here for the Flames rookies. They've turned it up. And the Oilers have run out of a little bit of gas, I think, other than the one line that's created all game long, 5-on-5, and it should, because it's got 2 very good Oiler prospects. Ryan McLeod is speed, Jack, and he's able to separate. He's a burner.
You think the extra game a factor tonight for Edmonton, having played the night before, Calgary playing only the 2 rookie games?
Not really.
Well, you said fatigue-wise, so that's why I was asking.
No, they've lacked a little. I think it's jump. I think the Oilers maybe push it early to try to get back in this game, and Calgary stepped it up, and not sure the Oilers are going to have to match it.
Oilers rallied from a 3-0 deficit late in the first period, got 1 at the end of the opening frame and 2 in the second. But Calgary's come out and broken the 3-3 tie here in the third period. Up the left-hand side, it's Gaudin. He's cut off at the Oiler blue line by Ethan Bear. Yamamoto got hung up with Merrick Rippon. And the Flames, in their own end, fire a pass up the left-hand side, and Gaudin didn't get a touch, and kind of an unforced error that time. Hard pass, and Merezhko knows it. 10:19 to play, third period. The faceoff will come back into the Calgary zone. Calgary has now outshot Edmonton 23-21 for the night by virtue of that 8-1 margin that Bob indicated as far as what we've seen in the first 9 minutes and 41 seconds of this final period.
I don't know how hard the Oilers rookies got pushed, Jack, last night. That's why I'm not necessarily saying it's a case of the 3 games in the 4 days. But
Esposito to Wilson, a shot. That was knocked down. Chance for Esposito on the rebound, and McDonald slid across to make sure there was no equalizer on that sequence. Lagesson back to Esposito. Stutter step, fires. Block shot for Rippon. And it was twisted up the left-hand glass and down the ice, and icing will be negated by the fact that reaching the puck is Glenn Gaudin. He's down the ice first. Jared Wilson and Evan Poli ushered him off the puck, and it's Poli who scored the equalizer late in the second period for Edmonton with a little give and go courtesy of William Lagesson. And now Poli chugs his way in. Erased on a hard hit from Josh Healy, who, like Dave Gust of Edmonton, played his collegiate hockey at Ohio State. Poli knocked down an outlet pass from Ruzicka, who moments ago scored the tie-breaking goal, but now we're going to have a penalty whistled against Edmonton. Delayed call coming with 9:20 to play in regulation. And with the puck is Bahal. He'll bring it to center. Down the middle of the ice, Dubé to the net. Wrist shot, and he just missed glove side. Boy, every time he's on the ice, he's either getting a chance himself or creating one for his teammates. Will step aside, and who knows, this might be the best way for Edmonton to get its mojo back, and that's on the penalty kill. They've been excellent tonight, erasing 3 Calgary power plays easily. They're going to have to erase a 4-3 deficit down the stretch. We're live in Red Deer with Oiler Hockey on 630 Jim. The play in regulation, Calgary on the power play with a 4-3 lead off the face-off, won by Edmonton. Ethan Bear is able to clear down the ice, and that's been instrumental tonight in the Oilers' 3 prior successful brick penalty kills, and that's winning that first face-off head-to-head against Calgary on the power play. Esposito out there with Gambardella, Crevier Morin, and Baird. Racing in is Zavgarodny. He's got 2 goals tonight for Calgary, who build a 3-0 lead late in the first period. Edmonton got 1 late in the first, 2 in the second. The second of which scored by Evan Pola to tie the game at 3 entering the final period. But Ruzicka on a feed from Phillips has scored on a breakaway to make it 4-3. And now a puck down the middle of the ice, juggled away by Pollock, and he has missed some chances, Bob. I mean, he's had 2 or 3 outlet passes right on his tape that he's either fumbled away or missed altogether. And Skinner flops on it, but that should have been a breakaway for Brett Pollock. He's wasted some real chances tonight.
Well, he was a consistent 30-goal scorer in the Western Hockey League, but it's a step up in weight class, spent some time in the ECHL first pro year, sort of established himself as an AHLer last year, but he has not been a dominator in these 2 games, despite picking up a couple goals the other day.
Originally a second-round pick of the Dallas Stars in 2014. Off the face-off, another Edmonton win and another clear by the Oiler rookies. Down the right-hand side, Phillips, who can fly, has speed to the middle of the ice, saves, Skinner, rebound, score! Glenn Gaudin on a sitter beneath the hash marks, pumps home the rebound, and it's 5-3. There was a delayed penalty coming against Edmonton. It won't matter. Calgary, a power play goal at 12:02. It was Phillips' speed that created the chance, and Glenn Gaudin polished it off.
Yeah, well, Flames attacked, and they were able to split the seam off the rush on the zone entry, and then Gaudin's a guy that's got some finishes, proven by those numbers last year in Swift Current. Right place, right time, to be able to play effectively.
Well, it's Phillips' playmaking ability that created the breakaway for Ruzicka. So at that time, that goal was created, and yeah, I mean, he polished it off, Bob, but that was just a dead duck sitting in there. Actually, give credit to Milos Roman. I think he was the one who knocked it off the pads of Skinner after Phillips had taken it hard to the hole.
Jack, the Oilers still
they're still short-handed. So it's a power play goal for Calgary, and another penalty incurred. So Gaudin gets the goal, and now the Flames remain on the power play, still with a 5-3 lead. So we've talked about how at times Gaudin has been pretty quiet. That being said, he's got goals in both games against the Oiler rookies, and Calgary seemingly back in command in this game. 5-3, it's Phillips off the center ice draw, taking it down low. Right corner, the penalty is to Jared Wilson. He's in the box for the Oilers. Flames have had 5 power plays tonight. Oilers just 1. Here's Ruzicka coming out of the right-hand corner. Out to Valimaki. His shot deflected away from Stuart Skinner and winds up in the corner where Phillips will track it down. Left point, another shot. Valimaki tipped and a save by Skinner, who stayed square and covers with no rebound. 7:11 remaining final period and a $1:13 left in this latest brick penalty kill. But the Oilers, even if they kill this one off, they're going to be down to 6 minutes left and still down by 2. You work so hard to get back in the game, Bob, and this is where you start also looking at the lineup. And I know Fu and Mangiapane aren't in there for Calgary, but Edmonton, in my mind, is missing the 3 players who've played the best hockey we've seen in the rookie camp this far, and that's Jones, Benson, and Evan Bouchard. Off the draw, hard hit right in front of the Oiler bench by Ethan Bear. Shook the puck free from Adam Olis-Madsen, but the Flames did well to hold it in. It didn't last, however. Colin Larkin with a clear, and Vesey, who can skate pretty well, gets down the ice and pins the puck against the boards, and Adam Olis-Madsen. Larkin comes over with token support, and the Calgary power play dwindles to 45 seconds. In over the line is Dubé. Zavgarodny gave it away. Lagesson, in turn, gave it up to Pollock, and now a quick shot. Zavgarodny had it tipped away by Lagesson. Rebound comes to McMurtry. From the left corner, he'll spin it off the boards. Olis-Madsen moves it over for Dubé. Top of the right circle, curls it back off the boards. Olis-Madsen. Dubé, right face-off dot. Inside Zavgarodny. Backhander flicked aside by Skinner. Rebound McMurtry. Zavgarodny. One-timer. Pollock score. Second power play goal of the period for Calgary. It's now 6-3 with 6:09 to go.
Ben Pollock found himself a soft spot there on the power play and ripped one home on the one-timer, but effective puck movement from the Flames rookies. And that one got through Stuart Skinner, who's had a frustrating couple games here. I think it needs to be stated. gave up 4 on 13 shots Sunday afternoon in Calgary. Has come in here.
Shots are 14-2 in this third period, though, Bob. He's not getting a ton of support.
Flames have had another gear.
The last couple have been on the power play. It's a 3-point night for Zavgorodny with the feed inside to Brett Pollock. And it's a 6-3 game. So the Flames scored the first 3, and now they've gotten the last 3 in this contest. And they've scored 13 times against the Oilers in 2 matchups. In over the line, down the left-hand side. Vessel trying to find the puck. It's in the high slot, and Gambardella will flick it behind Josh Healy. He'll reel it in himself, try a backhander along the ice, and Mason McDonald makes the save. Just the third he's had to stop here in this period. Left corner, it's Ryan McLeod. Inadvertently brought it outside the zone, and Edmonton will have to reset. 6-3 our score, final 5 1/4. Up to center, a hard hit on Dave Gust, and he's a little stung right now, Bob. He'll get up, but he's a bit shaky.
That one got a bite out of him.
Flames up the left wing boards, defending McLeod right at center ice. Tried to chip it ahead for Yamamoto, unsuccessful in that endeavor. And it's brought in by Calgary. Sent behind the net by Ellis. Skinner played it along to Crevier Morin, and now Yamamoto won't get there. Rippon did and sent it back inside the Edmonton line. Bear threw it across to Lagesson. Rink wide, Luke Esposito charges hard. Down the right side. Checked by Rippon. Stays strong on the puck. And now Marechko comes over to try to bump it off his stick. Van Stralen offered support. Esposito got right back in there against Marechko. Turned over by Roman. Loose in the slot. Polai couldn't find it. Matthew Phillips did. He's like a water bug out there. He can really fly. Down the right-hand side, Lagesson shakes off some traffic. Wouldn't mind seeing Phillips and McLeod go toe-to-toe. Exceptional skaters, both of them. Van Stralen a little errant with his pass across to Lagesson right point, and now with 4 minutes to go, the Oilers have to fall back. They'll get a change. Trailing 6-3, it's Lagesson with an outlet to Jared Wilson. 2 power play goals have put this one out of reach for the Calgary rookies. And Edmonton's going to lose both of these rookie matchups. Up the left-hand side, Zach Fisher punished by a hard hit from Kulovich, and that created a chance for Nolan Vesey to come up with a puck. Kulovich right side for Colin Larkin. Centering as he came over the line for Maximoff. That was broken up. Flames play it back to center ice, and it's Ellis making sure to get it deep with 3:20 on the game clock. In the shots now 14-3 in this final period. Flames have broken open a 3-3 tie after 40 with 3 goals against Stuart Skinner on in relief of Olivier Rodrigue. Dump in by Edmonton. Played up the left-hand side by Pahal. And now Maximoff able to cut him off at the Oiler blue line. Samoruk off the outlet is an errant one, and that'll turn into an icing call against Edmonton with 2:59 to play in this third period. 6-3 Calgary as we come down the stretch, Bob. Final lasting impressions here of what we've seen with 3 rookie games in 4 days.
I like a lot of what we've seen out of Ryan McLeod. I think a strong argument can be made for the first couple of games. The best 3 players didn't play tonight for Edmonton. Evan Bouchard, Caleb Jones on defense, and Tyler Benson up front.
Ethan Bear off the glass and back to center. Flames look to hunt that puck near the red line, and it's driven up for Phillips. He'll scoop it behind the Oiler defense. Ethan Bear back behind his own net up the right-hand side for Vessel. Back toward the middle of the ice. Kicked around. Bear, right side Vessel. 2.5 to go. Oilers trail 3. Vessel wrapped up with Rippon. No penalty called. Gaudin will backhand it up the boards, but it's cut off by Hebig. Scored a beautiful goal earlier in this game. Gets it back right circle. Hard wrist shot. Save Mason McDonald. Rebound cleared by the Flames. I'd also suspect, judging or kind of reading between the lines from some of your comments, that Yamamoto and Bear will want to find another gear as they head into main camp.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
In over the line, Esposito with a backhander from long range, top of the circles. This one stopped by McDonald. You'll recall Esposito scored on a spinning backhander off the rush back in the first period to get the Edmonton Oilers on the board in this game. 2:06 left third period. 6-3 Flames over the Oilers. Face-off win. Dubé up the left-hand side. Turned over. Van Stralen tried a shot. That was blocked. Zavgarodny will bring it up through center. Weave his way in over the blue line. And now tried to kick it back to Adam Ollis-Mattsson. Polai picked it off. And he'll send it deep left corner. Wondering whether Polai has earned himself an NHL preseason game. I think he's played hard in this camp in terms of looking at off-the-radar guys.
He has a dimension that you might want to have him dressed early in one of those preseason games.
Zavgarodny, right side, in over the line, McMurtry, but a late-off side call will whistle the play down. Minute 32 to go, third period, and the Flames have put this one out of reach. Of course, Calgary will play host to Edmonton in the Oilers' first NHL preseason game. That'll be played on Monday night at the Saddledome, 7 o'clock. And then next Tuesday, one night after that game, the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks will get together at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. We'll have it for you at 8:30 face-off. And as we talked about earlier, the first Oiler home preseason game a week from tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Rogers Place against the Winnipeg Jets, who went all the way to the Western Conference final last year before being beaten by Vegas. Up through center. Shot in by Kulovich, and now the Oilers play the final minute 20 here in the offensive zone. Trying to get on the board one more time here. They've been outshot 29-25 tonight. Again, the majority of that coming in the third period where Calgary found another gear. Ruzicka, who scored the tie-breaking goal on a breakaway created by a one-touch outlet from Phillips, able to clear up the right-hand side. Samorukov with a minute to go in the third period. Advanced as far as the Calgary blue line, but that's all. Dave Gust will lob it off the glass and back deep into the Calgary zone. Goaltender Mason McDonald will drop it off. Outlet up the left-hand side. Getting a smart touch on that was Rippon. He'll peel off on a change. And now Calgary in on the forecheck with 35 seconds left. Golfed inadvertently out of play. That looks like a delay of game call coming against Edmonton. Vessel on the far side just got it up on the heel of a stick and threw it out of play. And Calgary will get one final power play here with 34 seconds to go. 6-3 our score. And a face-off coming to the right of Stuart Skinner. And you've said it, Bobby, has not had the best timing.
No.
Faced some tough chances against on Sunday. And tonight, arriving in the third period, all of a sudden the Oilers gave up nearly as many shots in the first 12 minutes of this third period, Bob, as they did in the first 40 minutes tonight.
Which maybe does speak to a bit of fatigue. A little bit more travel for the Oilers rookies as well, but
fair amount of guys playing the second of a back-to-back.
Yep.
But as you said, not a ton of energy exerted last night. Off the draw, Oilers able to win it. Brick penalty kill. Finally gave way with a couple of power play goals in this third period, icing this one for Calgary. Final 15 seconds now. Flames biding their time. Rippon left-hand side. Elise can't get started, and Esposito will deliver one final clear, and that'll be all for the Oiler rookie games against Calgary. A 7-3 loss on Sunday and a 6-3 final tonight. Both in favor of the Calgary Flames. Skinner finishes his night's work with 11 saves on 14 shots for Edmonton goals. Esposito, Hebig, and Polai, and now it's on to NHL preseason, Bob.
Yeah, well, you said it late. I mean, if you're a rookie like Kyler Yamamoto or Ethan Bear, you know you're going to get some preseason games. Some others are trying to earn that. And you got a guy, as an example, like Evan Polai, that's trying to get himself at least one of those two games, be it against Calgary or against the Vancouver Canucks rookies. Strong showing tonight from Ryan McLeod. Yamamoto and Bear are going to want to elevate. Bouchard, Jones, and Benson, they were the best Oilers in the first two games, and they were missed tonight.
Edmonton fell behind 3-0 early